Hello, hello, hello. Look, I'm back on here. I didn't bring my ring light down here or nothing. I'm just down here. Oh my goodness. I done got hooked with grandkids. I can't do nothing. Got sick last week. So this is why I am here tonight. My girl Brandy is going to the DR tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be able to get back with you guys together sometime next week. Look, I left my lotion over there in the other room. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, but I had to go get some lotion for my hands. I was washing dishes and cooking. So how y'all been doing? Shoot, I got sick last week. And then my dad had to go into surgery. Like I got something funky that I need. What's this butter? Look, I'm trying to hold it right. Which way? Yes. Funky Divas with butter. It's called Pharaoh's Love. It smells pretty good. It's a light scent. I ordered the what is it? You get like 3 cents. I got it on my neck. You get like 3 cents. So it's pretty decent. I like one of my favorite things to wear is this here. What is it? LV. I like their stuff. I like more of a. This is more like got shea butter in it, so it's kind of for folks that get ashy like me. This guy it's more of a. I feel like more of an oil base. This here is a cream base. I mean, both of them are cream base, but this one I don't feel like it's like this one. It could be more. This one could be more oily. This gets the job done here. That's called LV. I found out about them on Facebook, but this here Funky Dineva stuff by Butter, it's pretty good. So I'm here and I want to talk about some things. The most disturbing thing I saw is the lady getting beat up by these kids, and I just couldn't believe it. So I said, well, let's talk about that. We got Porsha Williams was getting into it with somebody on the airplane. And the Congress and the Senate decided to release the Epstein files. But, we're going to talk about that too. So as you come in, please come in and like and share the video. Trying to get back into the algorithm, honey. And it costs you nothing. It's free 99. Come in and like the video. So let's get out here and let's talk about it. So let me go over here and share my screen. And we'll talk about, I want to talk about the young lady. Let's see here. Let me go over there and find it first. The young lady and her walking with her son. Which it was very, very, very disturbing. I showed my grandkids that today. They just couldn't believe it. I showed my dad. And he's like, this world is so demonic. I just ain't never heard somebody, kids. And these kids, they're not high school age at all. So let me share my screen. Get back to it. Share. Let's see here. I want to see what it looked like in StreamYard. Oh, Lord. I didn't stop sharing it. Hold on just 1 second. Look, when you ain't did something in a minute, it might be like I done got kind of a little dumb here. They done changed a little bit on here. So let's see what it looked like in StreamYard. Okay. So anyways, this happened in Chicago, and it happened yesterday afternoon. And Lord, where are we at? Okay, it happened yesterday afternoon. so I can read it. It says a Chicago mother living with sickle cell was reportedly attacked by a group of middle school students while walking her children home from school. The incident was recorded and has sparked outrage across the community. According to the family, the woman and her children, a woman and her kids, were hospitalized following the assault. Parents in the area are calling for accountability and stricter safety measures around school dismissal. Okay, so let me go ahead and let you see what happened.
Come on, boy. Shamar looking at. Shamar. Come here. What you want, Shamar? Foot. Shamar, foot. What you want, Shamar? Shamar looking at. Come on. Look at them ankles, boy. Shamar looking at. Junior. Bitch. Hey, foot, don't touch my brother, foot. Oh, hell no, those ankles ashy as fuck. Look at them bitches, Greg. Other bitch, more. That's his ass.
The girl here?
Oh my God, damn! The little kids in them, not the big kids. The big kids not touching them. I'm saying the little kids. I should smash that bitch on my brother. Damn! Crack! Damn! Hey, fool, let my homie go. Let my motherfucking homie go.
This is a shame. It is disgusting.
Beat his ass, yo. They working ass. Other bitch. Damn. Oh my God.
And that's the mom. People thought she was pregnant. This is a fucking shame. A shame before God. I mean, a shame. I know I'm old and everything, but damn. I showed my dad is 73. I'm 53. I just can't believe it because I think about, being a kid. I grew up in I got lotion in my hair. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in the 80s. I'm born in the 70s. Born in 72. Back when I was in school, this was unheard of. First of all, you wouldn't even be cussing around somebody's parent because their parent, that parent there would have told your parent you done went home and got your ass whooped after they would have probably whooped your ass for cussing or really strongly gave you some strong words. This soft parenting is getting on my nerves. This is some ghetto shit right here. I work in daycare. I have a daycare. And I see kids that have given me more respect than they gave their own parents. And this at the preschool, level, preschool and under. I get some of the kids back in the summer that I done had for 10 years. My child care daycare facility is it's very diverse. But to see something like this, I mean, it really, really makes me want to cry. Thinking that I listened to a lady this evening, Really Be TV, and she's a school teacher. And where she's from, which is in the Washington, D.C. area, she spoke how they don't even give out detentions no more. And I wasn't even aware of that. She said, there is like no repercussions for these kids. These kids are not held accountable. So they can pretty much do whatever they want to do. You know, and I came through, you was getting paddles. So you didn't want to get a paddle in school because your parent found out you got a paddle, you getting a whooping when you got home. So this soft parenting and this ghetto ratchetness, I mean, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and I seen where some of the family members of the children, you know, like it wasn't no big deal or nothing. But the community is upset because, you know, if they thought that lady was pregnant, but she says she suffers from sickle cell and she had been back and forth out of the hospital. And that is the reason why, you know, she's bloated like that. That's ridiculous. Here you got a sickly woman. She walking both of her kids home. She said her son is 9 years old and had been bullied for 2 years. And I'm looking at these bigger kids. They're in middle school, clearly. And why do they want to fight this little boy? So now you got a little boy who is totally traumatized. His little sister looked like she was in kindergarten, maybe pre-K. And all I could think of is, I'm like, I'm a short lady. I'm short. I'm 5'1". I remember my mom, she's short too. Shoot. I cannot imagine. And at that time, when I was in school, my mom was very petite. She only weighed, maybe 120 wet, if that. I couldn't imagine no kids jumping on my mom, trying to walk you home from school because these kids are bullying you. So where I'm from, at least the rules used to be, until you made it home, if you got into any kind of fight or anything, you could be suspended. Because I remember when I was in middle school, I got jumped on the way home from school. And it was the Friday before spring vacation started. And I was in the 8th grade staying after for track practice. And these girls wanted to fight. And, you know, I wasn't even sure who they was trying to fight. All I knew is I was on my way to band practice that day. And I played a clarinet. And the little girl, she was like in the 6th grade, came up to me with her sister and said I hit her. And I'm looking like, I don't even know you. What I look like is, you know, I'm like, I don't know her. And she was smaller than me. Imagine that. And I'm, you know, I'm 8th grade, think I'm all that. And saw that happen. And the girl, her sister said something. I'm like, you know, I just kind of like, I don't even know what the hell she's talking about. I don't even know her. So after track practice, mind you, we walked home from school. We didn't have an activity bus or anything like that, but we walked home because most of the kids, even though I did catch the bus, but a lot of times I would just walk to school because we had to pay for our own bus pass. It was $2 a week. So my mom would give me the bus pass money. I used to spend it on the Inquirer, Michael Jackson stuff because I still was into Michael Jackson. But anyways, the girls, they came and we didn't know what was going on. It looked like a parade coming down the street. And half of these girls they didn't even live in that school district, really. They lived, I would say, probably most of them was from these projects. They're not really projects, but low-income housing. And so they didn't, I don't know who address they used to go to that school or whatever, but we didn't have any of those kind of apartments over by the school. So nobody who lived in those apartments was going to the school I went to because it was pretty much a walk school. And I'm like, what's going on? It looks like a parade. And I happened to see some of the kids we went to school with, they all were coming back because I guess they hear about the fight that's going to happen. So then, I started recognizing some of the boys. And when they got up there, you could hear the girls go, there they go. So these girls had pocket knives and shit. We wasn't doing that kind of stuff when I was in school. We weren't doing nothing like that. These girls was different. They had terrorized the whole damn school. One was talking about she was pregnant and shaved all the eyebrows off and painted them on. We weren't doing that when I was in school, honey. I still was sometimes wearing ponytails. So the girl go to fight. So they called me out first, and they had the little one come to fight me, because my heart is in my throat. It's pounding. I ain't never been really in no fight. I mean, I fought with my brothers and maybe my cousins. I mean, but I would never been in no fight where it looks like a street fight. And and I remember I had on some brand new Pumas. They were suede, blue and gray. And I kicked them off or whatever. And because I didn't want to mess up my shoes. And me and that girl, honey, I went to working on that little girl that all of them jumped. And I remember when I got home, before we can make it home, because we was fighting all up and down the street. And one lady, she came out because she was a mother of one of the girls I went to school with. And, kids back then, we ain't cuss in front of adults. So we didn't do that kind of stuff. So she came out there trying to figure out what was going on. The girl that was sent her little sister to fight me, then she jumped in it. She got to crying, talking about, I'm pregnant. We all looking like, what? What the hell? The girl looked like she was old enough to be our mamas, with the short hair and the drawn on eyebrows. We just weren't doing this. This was 1980, spring 1986. So I was still 13. I hadn't turned 14 yet. And we all looking like, what? So then the adult lady, she was like, hey, you can't be fighting a pregnant girl. I'm like, I wasn't trying to fight her. She's fighting me. So by the time I made it home, because my face is all scratched up, and my mom had ended up calling the police. So she called the police, and the word got back to school what had happened. So those girls were suspended, ultimately expelled. Like I said, they came into the school. They was trying to fight. They were trying to bully a lot of people. And it took that one fight to get rid of them. But it was just like, it was crazy because I had probably like 5 girls jump me. And then the guys that was there was getting those girls off of me, which was crazy. So I really sympathize with this woman, and this little boy is going to be traumatized. I bet you never in life again that'll happen to his mama in front of him. I mean, when my granddaughter saw it, she's 13. She's in 8th grade. And she just got so upset. I mean, because what kind of kid fights an adult for no reason? It wasn't like kids were out there fighting and the adult jumped in it. And then the adult started fighting. No, this poor woman who had sickle cell was getting, beat up by these kids. And I just said, what if for some reason, oh Lord, what didn't happen here? I said, what if for some reason that lady would have, done something, what if she had a blinky with her? What if, what if? What could this woman have done, with these kids? These parents could have been planning, a funeral or something, making T-shirts with these kids' names on them and pictures, their likeness on there. I just ain't never seen nothing like it in my life before. Honest to God, I have not. That is just never. That's the worst. I mean, I know kids have, you expect that out of maybe high schoolers, maybe, but little kids doing this is ridiculous. And I do believe these little kids should be held accountable, because there was no sense in this. None at all. No sense in it. None. This little boy, he is scared. Truly scared. And so, let me go to my Facebook page. I'm just looking at it. That's just ridiculous. So the parents, they went up, different parents, they all went up to the school, because they were outraged. And like I said, they thought the lady was pregnant, and that these kids would do something like this to this woman. So they want the kids to be held accountable. I mean, just that little boy had no chance. And his little sister, she just up against the fence over there screaming and hollering. Not an adult in sight to stop it. I mean, that just, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine that. These kids are, they're bigger than her. This woman, she's a small woman. And she says she had been dealing with her sickle cell and had been in and out of the hospital. And she was kind of apprehensive at, trying to fight these kids because she didn't want to get herself in no trouble. But honey, if you swing on me, honey, we're going to be swinging out there like two damn grown-ass bitches out there. I'm not lying. Because none of this, because she even asked, why? Why y'all want to be fighting about? The kid said, the little kids is hitting them, not the big kids. Why is any kid hitting this little boy? This generation, I don't know. I don't even know what to say for it. I don't know. But you can see here this kid's
Smash that bitch.
look, for no reason.
Crack, damn. Hey, fool, let my homie do.
And she's trying to protect her kids. It's just ridiculous. I hope. And they kicked her. Look how that little boy did that boy. It's some ghetto ass shit. That's all I can say. It's ghetto. 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 And I don't care. Honey, if she'd have been a white woman and they did that to her, and if she would have had something that could have helped her, a stick or any kind of weapon, I wouldn't blame her for using it. I'm not lying. This is ridiculous. So I really feel like these kids, like my mom always told us, you're going to learn here. I'm going to teach you accountability. Because if I don't, the police in the street don't care. And somebody asked me, where's Ice at? I said, well, I don't think Ice in the parks right there, because them kids ain't scared of nothing. They're not. So as we talking about the law here, let's go on here to discuss Miss Porsha. Now my voice trying to go out. Lord have mercy. But Miss Porsha was leaving BravoCon and was on the plane. It says Porsha Williams' trip home for BravoCon 2025 exploded into headlines as federal authorities confirmed they are looking into what happened on her flight. The Real Housewife of Atlanta star reportedly involved in a flight altercation during her Delta airline trip from Las Vegas to Atlanta on Sunday, November the 16th. A spokesman for FBI Atlanta told U.S. Weekly the FBI Atlanta is aware of the incident on the flight. It is unknown at the time if federal charges will apply. That is all we have at the moment. It says Williams, 44, was one of two passengers questioned by the crew before landing. According to TMZ, the flight touched down safely, but was met by law enforcement. And video obtained by TMZ showed Williams speaking with the officer after exiting the plane. What actually sparked the dispute remains unclear. Representatives for Williams and Delta have not commented at this time. The incident unfolded hours after Williams wrapped her weekend appearance at BravoCon in Las Vegas. So then we have another one. There's an update. It says Porsha Williams has spoken following the incident aboard a Delta Airlines flight November the 16th after her appearance at BravoCon in Las Vegas. Her attorney, Joe Habaki, I don't know, told People that she was verbally assaulted by an irate and unhinged passenger without provocation. So she didn't provoke this person at all. He added that the passenger then proceeded to make false allegations that were in direct conflict with observations from several eyewitnesses. He further explains, as with any incident occurring aboard an aircraft, federal authorities are required to conduct an investigation involving all parties to determine what, if any, offenses occurred. It says the FBI Atlanta confirmed and is aware of the event and is evaluating whether federal charges may apply. Habaki, I don't know. Habaki says Williams has every intention to cooperate with law enforcement to whatever extent necessary, and remains confident that the passenger will be charged. So somebody started messing with her. Porsha, was you in first class or coach? Girl, probably somebody acting the fool just because they can. So then we got people, speaking of fools, we got the whole Epstein case thing going on. The files or whatever, not the case, the Epstein files. And we find out that the Senate unanimously passed a bill forcing the DOJ to release all Jeffrey Epstein's files, now heads to Trump. Now, I believe they passed it as veto proof, so he can't even veto it. But, all of a sudden, all of them that jumped on board, all the Republicans. So, because they got some shit they about to throw in the game. And so here's the shit they got to throw in the game. Let me come out of here. Because Jeffrey Epstein's brother has spoke out. Here we go.
We told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source. What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it.
So this is Jeffrey Epstein's brother. I believe his name is Mark Epstein. He told this to News Nation that he believes he got word from someone who knows what's going on. So they're scrubbing the names of all Republicans that may appear in the documents. Trump, allegedly, and everybody else. Honey, I wouldn't believe anything that comes from the DOJ now. We got some kind of kangaroo. This is some kind of kangaroo court going on. We got a kangaroo politics. It's just ridiculous. It is. So what else they got going on here? We got Marjorie Taylor Greene was out there this morning. I said, Lord have mercy. Here she goes.
Whether or not the Justice Department will actually release these files. Do you take the president at his word when he says he's going to sign this bill? And do you have confidence that these files will actually be released?
I only take people's actions seriously. No longer words.
And what do you think the president's actions?
And I'll tell you, because I wasn't a Johnny come lately to the MAGA train. I was day one 2015, and there's a big difference in those Americans and those that decided to support President Trump later on. And I'll tell you right now, this has been one of the most destructive things to MAGA, is watching the man that we supported early on, 3 elections, for people that stood hours, slept in their cars to go to rallies, have fought for truth and transparency, and to hold what we consider a corrupt government accountable. Watching this actually turn into a fight has ripped MAGA apart. And the only thing that will speak to the powerful, courageous women behind me is when action is actually taken to release these files, and the American people won't tolerate any other bullshit. That's where we are today.
What y'all think about this? She running and trying to, get ready for re-election here. And she's trying to separate herself from Trump. I can't take her too serious. I don't know. I think this is a political move for her. That's what I think, and that's what I feel. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, about time she came along and did something. But y'all let too much shit go through, This is, we have to be doing this. But this is what y'all wanted. So we have, I'm trying to get myself back in this algorithm. I feel like my throat is still kind of jacked up. So bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. So then we got the Epstein files going on. We did Porsha. We talked about the lady that was assaulted by all these kids. And here, that happened in Chicago. I'm in Indiana. Look at this fool here. So the Jasmine brand talks about an Indiana homeowner who actually, let me make it a little bigger so you guys can see it. Oh, Lord, which one I want to use? Nope. Nope. Look, I'm still trying to figure out. Let's use that one. Okay. But it's an Indiana homeowner charged with manslaughter after fatally, house cleaner who arrived at the wrong home. So this lady went to the wrong house. It says homeowner has been charged after fatally, offing off this lady, a house cleaner who had mistakenly gone to the wrong home on November the 5th for a cleaning job in Whitestown. Lord have mercy. Whitestown, Indiana. I've never heard of it. The victim was 32-year-old Maria Florina Royals Perez, she got a lot of names, Velasquez was found, deceased on the front porch just before 7 a.m. with a wound to the head. Authorities saying she and her husband were in the process of entering the property using a key when the homeowner fired from inside. So she was using a key. His name, Lord have mercy, his name was Kurt Anderson. His name is Kurt Anderson, right? 62, was taken into custody November 17 and is being held without bail, booked on one count of voluntary manslaughter. Jail records show Indiana is Indiana is a stand your ground state. I didn't know that. But Boone County prosecutor Kent Eastwood told reporters that Anderson did not have reasonable belief that that type of force was necessary, given all the facts. Perez and her husband had 4 children ranging from the ages 11 months to 17. This is kind of tricky. And this is what I tell my husband too. Because he seems to think, somebody else says, if someone's running out your house, you cannot do anything to them. And this poor woman thought she was using the key to get in. I wonder why he just didn't say nothing. So I would imagine that he did have some kind of, some kind of ring doorbell or something that he saw them out there. But to do that, I don't know. But she got killed right in front of her, got off right in front of her husband. That's sad. I'm here in Indiana, so I don't even know where Whitestown is at. Ain't never heard of it. And by the name, I don't think I want to go. I don't think I want to go to Whitestown. But that's sad. This woman called herself going to go to work. And look what happens. The news. I mean, it's just so terrible. Look, my voice is about to go out. Oh, Lord. I thought I was well enough to do a live. So what else we got to talk about before it just completely go away? So, it was BravoCon all weekend. And that's my thing. I'm into reality TV. So, but so we had the government was shut down, then they opened back up. Now they're making people reapply for food stamps now. So also look at this here. This I don't know why I saved this. Well, but yeah, they have made the people re-sign back up for the food stamps. And it sounds like if you are a person who don't have children, you're going to have to prove that you worked at least 80 hours a month to receive food stamps. And then I think people with children younger than the age 18 or younger than whatever age, I think almost middle school age or something like that, they don't probably have to show any kind of proof. But they're going in there throwing some shit in the game because they said there's so many hundreds of thousands of people who are dead and still getting benefits. And people like to, get upset about the people getting food stamps and what they came by or whatever. But really? I'm like this. If a person needs to have food stamps, they should be able to buy food. Point blank, period. I really feel like, because most of the people who receive food stamps, they already work anyways. Most people I know, they come to my daycare, they work because the kids in childcare, and they get food stamps because they're low income. It is what it is, but you have other there. What's his name? Was it Brett Favre? Down there, was it in Alabama, Mississippi, one of them southern state, Tennessee, one of them. He was down there getting the damn money from the social services or whatever, all kind of fraud shit with that. Because you get those kind of people who do stuff like that. And usually people who get millions of dollars from it is already some wealthy person who is frauding the government. Because I know that I thought the SNAP program also included what the farmers get too. So it's not just these low income people who's getting $300, $1,000. And if they getting $1,000 in food stamps, they probably got 5, 6, 7 kids. It is what it is. So I'm not tripping off of them getting food stamps. I don't care if they can use their food stamps. I know in certain states you can use the food stamps and go and get, go out to eat. It's ridiculous because I think most single people who can get food stamps, you cannot make no money. So it looks like the people that they're really going to start messing with are homeless people who do get food stamps. As because we already know no immigrants get it. I mean, illegal ones. They don't get that kind of stuff. But, I just feel like they're attacking the poor. And when you attack the poor, because it's more poor people than it is rich. It is. And I always say, like, rich people ain't the ones going out buying all these Cadillacs. It's usually the middle class, okay? Rich people ain't buying stuff like that. Middle class people buy a car for years. There's more of us than them. But if it gets to the place where nobody can afford to do nothing, we're going to have, it's going to be a time. America is not going to look, it's already not looking like it used to look anyways. With ICE out here acting a fool. My daughter, she usually works in Chicago. She works for the railroad. And I usually tell her, hey, don't be just out there walking around. Because usually they have a dorm there. And so the dorm they stay at is by like a strip mall or whatever. So she usually go over there, and find something to eat. Or either she can eat at the dorm. But usually they have like, a lot of the restaurants they don't have around there. And she usually would walk and get something. Now, I'm all nervous. Even we had a family member just passed away. And they had their funeral this past weekend. And some older women from our family here did not want to go. I don't think they went because they were scared of ICE and didn't know if, because we're seeing what's going on TV or people record and see on social media. It's enough to make you say, hey, it ain't, we look like we look. But honey, they ain't caring. They messing with everybody, as far as minorities anyway. So shoot, I don't want to get up there and be in that, get caught up, and then be detained for so many hours and, mistreated or whatever. I seen them but they went to South Carolina somewhere and they chased some woman back to some house and bust her car windows out and finally got her to open the door. I don't know, they can do all this stuff without a warrant. I just don't know. This is a different time and I'm not liking it at all. So I'm gonna do one more story for my voice completely go to heck. Because I thought I was well enough, but I evidently not. I'm gonna do here. We're gonna talk about
My daughter's in active labor, and this is a Franciscan Crown Point being put out in active labor.
This woman is in active labor and being made to leave the
So we
Franciscan
gotta
Health.
transfer her to a different hospital.
Now look at this. She had that baby 8 minutes later. 8 minutes later. This happened in Indiana too. This is Northwest Indiana. Let me read what it says because I can't see it from here. It says another Black woman. It says, here we go again. Another Black woman in pain. Another Black woman telling medical staff something is wrong. Another Black woman completely ignored. A sister showed up to Franciscan Health in Crown Point in active labor. Not maybe, not too early, active labor. She told them she was in pain. She told them she could feel the baby coming. And they still sent her home. 8 minutes later, the baby was crowning in the car. 8 minutes. Her partner had to deliver the baby on the side of the road because the people who were supposed to protect her decided her pain did not matter. This is not an accident. This is not a misunderstanding. This is the same medical racism our grandmothers and great-grandmothers talked about. Black women's pain is still being dismissed in 2025. It is exhausting. It is terrifying. And it is exactly why we keep saying protect Black women. The hospital claims they are investigating. We will see what that means. Later on today, we will post a full, they will post a full story about it. But this is this lady, honey, 8 minutes later, she had that baby. And sitting this woman home. So what the insurance is saying, well, if they can't be there, because I know we know it's been years ago. But when I first had my daughter, when they tell you to go to the hospital when they're like 5 minutes apart. Once they got 5 minutes apart, I went to the hospital. And I got there, told them I want the epidural, got the epidural. And honey, that stuff slowed all the way down. Honey, I went to sleep. My mama said, I'm about to go. This is boring. I went to sleep. Then they gave me something to induce it, to make it go. Because it just stopped. But I had been up the whole day because I had started labor like in the wee hours of that morning. So I didn't go to the hospital until this is in May. I think it was almost after the next day. My mom walked me all that day. So when I got there, I was only dilated till 3. But I didn't know what to damn expect. Shit, they told me when they started being like every 5 minutes or whatever, I was getting the hell up because I would have passed out if I had to do that stuff on my own. Turns out I had to get a cesarean anyways, an emergency cesarean. But this poor lady had to go through this. They said there was another lady who was in labor pain, and the nurses ignored her. She had to sit in the emergency room. And I believe that was in Texas, I think. We got to do better. We got these kids out in the street fighting grown folks. We got Trump up there about to scrub all the dang on Epstein files, allegedly. We got folks can't get their food stamps no more. Well, they'll get them, but they have to reapply. Because, they said there's so much waste on there. But they wasted that money everywhere else. They just gave, $20 billion to, or $40 billion, 20 to 40 billion to Argentina. But yet these people came back, because they wanted to get strict with these people on food stamps. I know in my state they were talking about making it so they can't buy like candy and shit like that. No junk food. Why? So if they just went in there and started buying a bottle of T-bone steaks and lobsters or whatever, they can't buy that then? So you find when they're buying oodles and noodles and packs of hot dogs and shit like that. They just want to make sure you ain't in there eating better than them. That's what that is. So they don't want you over there buying Snickers and all that kind of shit. They want you in there buying Spam, tuna and patty meat, shit like that. Beans. I don't know. But that's me and my spiel. I came on here to speak a little while, so I got to get myself back in the algorithm. I said I went to my high school reunion and couldn't even do this at all last week. I said I don't know what I started. I think my throat had started bothering me. Was it maybe Thursday or Friday morning? So it was something I probably caught from the daycare. And then the weekend, it was just kind of scratchy, but no problem. It wasn't until, because I closed Wednesday. It was Tuesday is where I felt like death. I was like, I can't work like this. I can't work like this. And I had let all the parents know, hey, I hope you got a contingency plan because I'm not going to be over tomorrow. And whatever was in here, because some kids are still out with it. And my son was telling me, because he works in transportation, he said, there's something out here. He said, because a lot of people's catching it. I said, I don't know. And then so I seen some of the other YouTubers was talking about whatever they called. They said, oh my God. So no sooner than that, this weekend was fine. I started feeling better. My husband did like date night, and we did some kind of like a duck bowl. I don't know what the heck it is. Some kind of, it ain't bowling because you got a little small ball that you bowling with. But we did that. But right before that, my back started hurting. And I just figured because of the weather, I got arthritis. Bending and picking up and doing all that kind of stuff. So Sunday, I couldn't do nothing. I was stuck in the house. So then my dad, I said, well, because I thought Saturday night, I said, well, I'm going to get a bunch of my lives done. Talk about BravoCon, do Potomac and all the Braxtons, get all that done. Honey, I was in too much pain to do anything. So I was like, okay, well, maybe try to get it done tonight. So when I got ready to go live, I got my grandchild here. He'll be 6 months on the 20th, I think. And as soon as I got ready to go live, he woke up. I said, oh, shit. So I said, let me get him together so he could go back to sleep. And then I got to do my live. But it's been rough. It's been rough. I feel like my throat is about to go out. But I said, I got to come over here and talk about something. Because I got to get back in this algorithm and talk to you guys and see what y'all been doing. And what I've been having me some good weekends. I ain't lying. Well, good Friday and Saturday nights. But I enjoyed my reunion. It was great. Really great. I was caught myself going live about it while I was driving, and then my sound went out. But it was great. I enjoyed seeing a lot of kids. Kids. I'm calling them kids. These old people I went to school with. I enjoyed seeing them. Some flew in. The school we went to was the last pedestrian high school. So the only way you could go to the school is you had to live near it. So it was very diverse. South side, it was on the south side of town, but not this, like really kind of more inner city. It was like the only inner city high school anyways. And we had a good dang old time. And what I really like about it, because we don't have like any like all black schools. It's not that kind of town. Now I heard of that in Gary. When I went to Gary, Indiana, I was a little shocked. I was taken back because we was at where we were at? The Cracker Barrel, because it was close to the hotel we stayed at. And for Sunday morning, we went there for breakfast. I'm used to the Cracker Barrels here. You ain't say nothing but a whole bunch of white people. I went to this Cracker Barrel and I told my husband, I go, what do you think is different in here? And he goes, I don't know. I was like, look around. He's like, what? He said, oh, it's a lot of black people. I had never been to a Cracker Barrel that was all black. Never. I said, he thought about it. I said, everywhere we went was all black. I didn't realize how black Gary, Indiana was or is. Because even we went to a Leela James concert, and Eric Roberson. I took her because my husband liked them. I took her for his birthday. It was last year, 2023. And that side, I guess they're really into house music. And I ain't know none of them house songs. I'm like, it's like, where y'all from? I said, we from Indiana, but we all the way close to Ohio. I said, and that's not a thing where I'm from. I mean, I know some house songs, like the Percolator song. I never knew it was a house song, to tell you the truth. But it was, one that was a song that they kind of played at the clubs here. But we didn't dance like how they danced to the Percolator. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing there. But anyways, I forgot where I was going with it. Look at it. So anyways, about our school. So all the white kids that went to school with us, like I said, you had to live around the school to go. So you had a lot of the white kids that lived west of a high school. Those were more of the affluent kids. Their houses, back then there was the mini mansions. I mean, they're really nice homes on this one road that's on the south side of town and up around there. Then you had the kids on the east side of that school where you lived, regular neighborhoods, So, and the kids in those regular neighborhoods, you had the white kids that lived there. And it's, some of these white kids you see, well, they're grown now. I'm like, because they in there, we all in there jamming. They playing all the music. We dancing to the old LL Cool J, Rock the Bells, all that. Everybody know all the rap words and stuff. And I just got so tickled. I said, because these white kids we went to school with, we all lived around the corner from each other. So, and most times we went to school from elementary all the way through, with each other. So I was like, these kids, they were all neighborhood kids, Some parents had, some of the children were the grown adults now. My classmates, some of their parents had passed away. The other kids or other classmates, they knew them. hey, those are my neighbors or whatever. And I thought, oh, I wish schools were still like that. I guess what I can say is I came up during the time. I knew it was a such thing of racism, but that wasn't not my life. I didn't experience it. You know, I can imagine, I can think of a thing or two that may happen, but it didn't happen like at school. It didn't happen with none of my classmates, you know. It was, you know, our own little multicultural school. You know, you had the foreigners, because we had a lot of kids that came like from Ethiopia at that time. And I remember they was always set apart. And I never understood why. And then I realized they didn't know how to speak English. So they had to go through like those other classes so they could learn English, you know. Because I remember the girls, they were really pretty. And I ended up working with one of the girls' sisters when we worked. I had an after school job. And beautiful. They were Ethiopian. And the one lady got invited to the wedding. And she went. And I think they had like a wedding in California and something in Washington, D.C. I don't know. But the one lady, she went. And she said, oh, my God, it was like watching Coming to America, you know, with the nice, beautiful robes and all that kind of stuff. She said, oh, it's so beautiful. But our school was very diverse. It was the only magnet high school at the time. So you would have some of the kids that come from the magnet middle school that fed into our school. But, you know, most of us didn't go to the magnet middle school. So you know, it was a good time. And I really enjoyed seeing everyone and all the ones who came in, because it was a multi-year class reunion. So it was from 1989 to 1992. But the class of 1993 came. And the girl who decided to throw it, she did it in very short notice. I mean, but it was nice. It really was. It turned out nice. I think she decided to take it on in September. And she had it in, you know, several different nice events. And a lot of people said they didn't know about it. I said, so the next one they wanted to, the next big one, they wanted to do a cruise. They done one before. And so they wanted to do it again. I think they did. Same like, I think it was class of 89 to like 93 or something like that. So they're going to do that again in 2027. So I said, I want to go to that. So yeah, but I feel my throat getting crazy. I don't know. So yeah, this is it. This is me. I'm trying to get in. So if you come in, if you're part of the replay, please come in and like the video. And it's an easy way and free way to support, because YouTube has this, you know, the way they push out your videos or your lives or whatever is they get people in, and the people come in and start liking it, and they'll push it out even more. And then also, so I'll probably go live again tomorrow and do Real Housewives of Potomac and talk about BravoCon. And then I have to get caught up on the Braxtons, Bell Collective, and back to Love and Marriage. I don't know. I don't mind watching the shows, but we have to go back and watch them again and take notes. That's why I be like, oh, shit. So I really want to do this. So yeah, but so I can get all caught up. And then Brandy and I will be back sometime, I guess next week. I don't know when she's coming back. I know her son is getting married in the DR. So I'm pretty sure she'll be giving us some good reels or shorts, and probably going live too, you know, for over there. So yeah, we found out. So I'm trying to think of all the things. So we got everything that I could think about to talk about. The biggest thing is y'all keep that lady in prayer who was assaulted by those kids. that she suffers from not leukemia, Lord have mercy, sickle cell. And then because after the fight, she ended up going to the hospital. But she got out because she did go to the they had like a kind of like a protest or whatever at the school. You know, and they they want those kids to be held accountable. All up and down my Facebook timeline, it's nothing but either stills of people taking pictures, and they're circulating the pictures of those kids. There's a lot of people in Chicago that were just disgusted. One guy, he even put up a $5,000 reward to get those kids, you know, the way he had worded it, he said, I didn't mean it for anybody to get hurt, you know. But he, of course, like I said, they thought she was pregnant. And if these kids would jump on this lady like this is ridiculous. And those two little kids are just traumatized. And I was like, I'm tired of ghetto shit like that. I am. Because 9 times out of 10, the mammies at home, they condone the shit. My mom would have came out and beat the brakes off of me. That would have never happened. My mom would, oh my goodness. Let her find out that I'm out here acting a fool and gonna jump on an adult. My mom wouldn't have had that, you know, but I feel like, of course, these kids have been raised differently. And a lot of them, you know, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I am going to say it. A lot of these people are unchurched. And that's the difference. You know, as a kid, I went to church, you know, Sunday school and regular Sunday service. Regular. And then we had to do Sunday evenings. And the moral compass is just a little different I feel like when you're church. I mean, as church kids, we did shit. We did. But my grandma always used to say what is the Bible scripture about the, well, I know it was Ephesians 6:1. Children must obey their parents, for in the Lord is right. And then there's one to talk about, you know, basically like a child obeying their parents so the days will be long or something to that effect. I don't know exactly what scripture it was. My grandma used to quote that one a lot, though. So you be able to live out your days, honey. You don't want your life shortened, so you best to, you know, obey an adult. This was talking back, you know, doing something, huh? What? That's talking back. That's talking back then, honey. My grandma, you had to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. My grandma said, you forgot your manners? I don't know. I think there's something must be done with the children. Because, I mean, just looking at that, not saying, it just seemed like those kids there, it just seemed like you could tell their households are, how do I want to word it? I would say it's probably a single parent household. Either mother or father. Or probably neither one of them, maybe grandma. But you could tell that I would say that their home life is not great. Couldn't be. Because most kids, even in that situation, I would imagine if something like that happened, where a girl started wailing on a woman trying to protect her children, that somebody would have stepped in and tried to break it up or stop it. Everybody was too busy taking out the phones or fighting the lady. And I just think it's disgusting. It really is. You know, not one to watch a fight. I want to watch a good fight. You know, but to a person who's not doing any harm to you. You know, what is fun about fighting someone that's defenseless? You know, this little boy, he is truly terrified. He's traumatized. And I hope that he don't go, you know, that trauma is nothing that's going to make his life worse. That, you know, because a kid like that, will he start, you know, trying to defend himself with a weapon? I don't know. Look, I hear my grandbaby in the other room. So let me go off here so I can take him on to the upstairs, the room upstairs, so he can take his little butt to bed for real. But that's it. That's all. Oh, God, I can't wait till this call is finally over with. And y'all have yourself a great evening, and I'm going to get up out of here. And look, I made me some salmon patties, salmon croquettes. Sorry, I think I'm going to eat me a couple of them before I go to sleep. But y'all have a great evening. And thank you for spending some of your evening with me. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Good night.